Welcome into UGA Football Live with JC Shelton, where the dogs come to talk. What's up, y'all? Welcome in UGA Football Live with JC Shelton. Got a great offseason episode planned here with none other than Tavarres King, one of the best Georgia wide receivers in recent history. TK, it's been a while since I had you on, but you are a friend of the show, and I love getting a chance to talk with you. How are you doing, man?
Doing well, bro. Doing really well, man. I appreciate anytime I can hop on with you. You know, I'm gonna get on here, even if it's a week late. My fault, but
You're good, man. You're
um,
good. Hey, that's a cool carpet behind you.
yeah, man. So actually, Aaron Murray's brother-in-law, um, he has a company out in Los Angeles, and they make rugs, and he did that for me. So shout out to those guys over there.
Yeah, we love the Players Lounge. Yeah, I'm an editor on Georgia right now, the Players Lounge, so we love those guys. That's a cool carpet. I got to get me one of those, man. I got to hit up Aaron. You're like, where do I get one of those, man? That's
For sure.
nice. Yeah. But thanks for coming on. Let's jump right into it. So a lot of questions here on the Georgia offense. Obviously, you changed coordinators from Todd Monken to Mike Bobo. Mike Bobo, you're very familiar with.
Man,
Um, and let's open it up. And I've the former Georgia Bulldogs I've had on this offseason, we always touch on Bobo, especially since most of them did play under him. Let's get your first thoughts. I don't think we've spoken since he was hired early this offseason. What was your first thoughts there when they made that move?
obviously super excited. I think it's a great move. Obviously, losing a great talent like Coach Monken, you saw what he did with the offense and how he had the offense rolling. Losing a great talent like that is always tough, but getting somebody, one, that you're familiar with, two, that is a just Georgia guy through and through, and three, is pretty damn good at what they do. I think that is just amazing. And you saw, I feel like he was an integral part to Stetson. I feel like he was an integral part to that offense. Just being there last year, not being an OC. So having him back at the helm, I think is huge. I think that um, the knowledge that he's gained throughout these years is going to be huge. And then now, dude, they've got so many, so many players, so many different weapons on that team that Coach Bobo gets to play with. And you got to think we were putting up, I think, 38, averaging 38, maybe 40 plus points at some point during my career there. So you got to think that he's just gonna do that with these type of athletes. He's gonna find ways to get the ball in Brock Bowers' hands and in Rah Rah's hands and Dom Lovett's hands. He's gonna find ways to get guys going, and it's gonna be fun. Lad McConkey, it's gonna be fun, bro. I think it's gonna be an exciting year. And I'm super excited. He's getting a second opportunity to do something special, and something even more so special in a three-peat, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot you said there. And most of my opinion is really formed from guys like you who come on here and told me stories from playing under him. And, everybody can look at stats, and if you're not involved, you can look at the numbers. They were good at some points, like you pointed out there. They were not as good in others. But I think when you look at how his former players think about him and their successes, not only the college level like yourself, but also in the NFL like yourself and other guys as well who played under him. I think it's such a different program than he was here last. I mean, when you look at it under Mark Richt, who I love, but he didn't have I think the staff that Georgia has right now on offense, especially with guys like Dale McGee and Todd Hartley at tight end, and then BMAC and what he's doing at receivers. And then
Yeah.
offensive line, Stacy Searles, right? I mean, those guys up front are huge. They're some of the top-rated prospects for the upcoming NFL draft, and Tate Ratledge and Cedric Van Pran, and Xavier Truss as well. I mean, I know we have to replace the tackles there, but we have talent. We have guys who have rotated in like Amarius Mims as well, shown good stuff. So, I mean, you have one of the most elite tight end groups in the country, headed by maybe the best player in college football right there. My Bobo didn't have that back in the day. He had some great receivers like
Yeah.
yourself. But
Yeah.
how do you think that those pieces kind of going to really help Bobo get started here and get rolling here in the fall?
Man, I think they're going to be, integral part. You mentioned coaches. I mean, all of those guys that you mentioned were actually on staff, but the growth. as well for them as coaches is huge. As well as what you mentioned, the players. That line that we have now, unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. The guys that they got coming in, even just unreal. I don't know what they're feeding these kids, but you talk about playmakers and out wide. We did have pieces, bro. We had a lot of pieces out wide, but collectively, all together, you got a Rah Thomas, that's super special. You got a Dom Lovett that's super special. You got Rosamie Jack Saint that's super special. Dylan Bell super special. I mean, I could go on down the line. The speedster, Arian Smith, like there's so many different things that I feel like Coach Bobo is going to be able to do. And all of that is anchored, you know what I'm saying? Lad McConkey, all of that is anchored in the middle by Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers, Lawson Lucky, I think is going to be huge. Pierce,
Yeah.
all of those like that. You mentioned Todd Hartley, that's my dog. All of those guys in that tight end room are special. But I mean, collectively, bro, you just look across the board and on paper, and you're just like, man, how much fun is Mike Bobo gonna have calling plays? And then, obviously, we got to talk about quarterback. Carson Beck is a special talent. He's a special kid, and I think that he's kind of not waited his turn, but I think he's learned so much and has been behind somebody such a good leader in Stetson Bennett that he's ready, bro. He's ready to be that guy. So I think that this team, man, offensively may be way better, you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of scary, and we didn't even talk about the backs. So it's scary, bro. This team and the uh the coaching staff and what they're able to do, the culture they're able to create, as you mentioned before, is just insane, and it's fun. It's fun to be a part of. It's fun to be a Georgia fan. It's fun to be a Georgia alum right now.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And you look at the support that Bobo and this offense will have on the defensive side of the ball, which is going to be incredible. And then special
We
teams
bring
as
back how
well.
many guys we bring back? 8 guys. Eight.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah,
and
that's
I
crazy.
mean, I know, obviously, have Kamar Lassiter stepping in that CB1 spot. So maybe Dalen Everett, maybe Nyland Green. We don't know who this is going to be. That I'm sure we're going to see. I expect to see some rotation in there in the first few games, or maybe even more. I mean, why not try it out in a schedule like this? I know it's going to be SEC schedule, and Kirby Smart don't take that lightly, but that is an opportunity for these guys to rotate and prove themselves, and then maybe solidify their own spots in this defense. Defensive line, I think it's going to be strong. Obviously, missing Jalen Carter, but let's not get into much in the weeds here on defense, because we know what the product is over the last few years. I mean, Georgia sends so many guys to the draft. There's always roster attrition there from turnover, but they're still able to really dominate. And I think that's not going to change. So the support Bobo has there is going to be one of the best he's ever had in his coaching career. Maybe he's not the best. So I think only big things for this offense here. And I think let's talk quarterbacks as well. You mentioned it there. Definitely want to get to that. So I think maybe an aspect, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this, that Georgia might miss from last year. Not to say they can't do something better or maybe adapt, which I'm sure that's what they're trying to do this offseason and fall camp, getting ready for it. But losing Stetson Bennett's legs, right? That's going to change the offense when you have a guy like Carson Beck back there who could scoot. I mean, I've seen him scoot a little bit, right? He has some wheels on him, but he's not.
Quite like Stetson. We seen Stetson
Yeah.
get the sliding,
Yeah.
So
Stetson's different. Stetson's a different animal. What are your thoughts on that and how this offense will have to adapt from a guy who can take off like that and even quarterback planned runs and RPOs with him in there as a runner option compared to now with Carson Beck pocket passer?
Yeah, you mentioned it though. I mean, I don't think Carson's just a statue back there. I think that he will be able to do some things, some of those RPO special things, some of those zone read type special things, where we need to get, a first down on the 3rd and 8. I think he can do that. I think he's very capable of doing that. He's got those next level intangibles. So I think he can do that. I do feel like I am excited to see how his leadership carries over, because that's something that Stetson he walked out there and it seemed like just cool. Everything just seemed cool. So I am anxious to see how that carries over and how those qualities carry over to this offense for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good mention there. That's what's going to help Stetson in LA and really being an NFL quarterback. I think his ability to go in as a backup and calm guys down. Like, hey, I got this. Let me step in and do something special. Like there's always that, like Chad Daniels kind of in the NFL, right? Guys
Yeah.
who step in and sling it. That's always good to watch. But I think with Carson Beck, and here's an interview, guys, if you're listening. I did a story on Carson Beck and Aaron Murray, their conversation had to be a couple months ago now. Um, but they really went in depth about this and the experience that he's gained, waiting his turn, and everything that he says. I know it's a media interview, so it could just be player or coach speak there, but his mindset to me really seems genuine in that he is going to try to keep calm, keep cool. He's shown that in the past when he's gotten mop up duties, but we'll have to see him in the fire a little bit. But he said that learning from Stetson last year was probably the biggest leap in his development, even though he necessarily didn't want to. Of course, I mean, he was preparing to start every game, like he was going to start every game. He said that really helped him. So I mean, the guys, from what we've seen in the past, they trust him. I mean, he threw at Georgia's pro day a couple years ago. The guys picked him to throw. Obviously, Stetson was getting drafted, so he threw this year. But I think that he has that trust, and especially that arm talent, and the ability to change angles and stuff. I know you have to love that as a receiver, right?
Yeah, bro. You definitely love the intangibles. You definitely love what he can do. I think I saw a clip of him the other day, slinging it different, throwing off balance, going rolling the opposite way, throwing the opposite side of the field. So the arm strength is there. Um, and yeah, we've seen him do some awesome things. But you mentioned it. You said it. We're number one. We've got the target on our back. We've got the target on our chest, on our face. It's on us. So every week in and week out, you're gonna get everybody's best. Everybody's gonna throw different kind of looks at you, different kind of blitzes at you, different things, different coverages. So you definitely got to be prepared, and he alluded to it. He said last year was so integral for him, because he prepared like a starter, and when you prepare like a starter, and you're not the guy, that makes me even more anxious to see you when you are the guy. So I'm excited to see what we've got in Carson Beck, and I think we've got something special for sure.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I think the facts are out there as far as Georgia and the ability they're going to have right now to really stretch defenses with the players on the offense. So I think it might be one of the best years for the Georgia offense, and that support from the defense, I think it's a great combination. And as a guy who, caught 135 passes, 2,600 yards, 20 touchdowns in your career, I got a question as far as the schedule goes, right? So the schedule in the SEC right now, we don't know how each team's going to perform throughout the first few weeks of the season. There might be a big shift. Somebody maybe is playing a lot better than they were always previously expected to. Now, the schedule right now is one of the weakest in the SEC. I think it hurts Georgia a little bit, and not from the standpoint of the college football playoff or anything like that. I think you win the SEC, that's all you need. Even if you go undefeated, maybe you lose a close game in the SEC championship, I think they're in. But as far as developing this team's mindset into playing in tough, close games, or maybe playing from behind, like they did at Missouri, they did at Ohio State last year, obviously came back with great comebacks in both games and won it, 15-0 season. But for me, it's like that almost kind of prepared that maybe that game versus Missouri prepared Georgia to play behind versus Ohio State and come back and still really play well and not get down on themselves, not say, oh, we lost this one or anything like that. Do you think I'm close there? What are your thoughts on the schedule and whether it hurts or helps Georgia?
I mean, it's definitely a light schedule, but um, I mean, who was the toughest team? Who played us the toughest last year?
Man,
Missouri,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Would you have said that? Would you have said that going into the season?
Nope.
Not at all. So that being said, I think that that's going to be something that's harped on all year long. Whether you're playing um, Missouri or you're playing Kentucky, or Bama, like any given Saturday, anybody in this league, in our league, can make something shake. So I think that that's definitely going to be something that's talked about on a daily basis. Because yeah, everybody, it's no secret. Everybody thinks that our schedule is alike. And I think it's not. I think it's like, but like I said, any given week, bro, in this league, it can happen to you. So that'll definitely be a point of emphasis.
Yeah. Let's go run through the schedule real quick and just get your predictions here. I'm not going game by game. I just want to see if you see any losses on to see if Georgia goes to the SEC championship undefeated. Tennessee Martin at home. We got Ball State at home. That's a great home openers. South Carolina. You were gonna say something?
Nah, I'm W.
Yeah, okay, I got you. Georgia at Auburn.
W. Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, I think Hugh Freeze is going to do some good stuff there, maybe over a few years. But I think it was just such a dumpster fire when he came in that it's going to take some time. Kentucky's at Georgia. I don't think that's good for Kentucky.
Nah, I don't think it's good for him. But Mark Stoops had that defense rolling. He's been having that defense looking good. They get what's it, Leary? They get Leary.
They got Leary. Mm-hmm.
And their receivers are really good. So I think that's probably like if I'm picking a game, that's the sleeper game probably.
Yeah. And they played us tough last year. I mean, their defensive scheme, I think, really helps them. Now, it's about the offense, right? They couldn't block anybody last year. That's the thing.
Oh, no, a soul. Not a soul.
We got Vanderbilt away. I don't know. That's going to be a tough one. Georgia, Florida.
Yeah, Florida is they might be the worst team in the league right now.
Might be. I don't know, man. They got so many questions, but it would be the year that Florida just decides to step up and play well. We'll see. I think that's a dub, though. And then Missouri at Georgia. Ole Miss at Georgia. That's going to be a fun game. They haven't played Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin. And he's going to want to scheme for that Georgia defense and really tear Kirby Smart up. You know that.
100%. He tries to do that week in and week out, especially when it's his guys like Kirby and Nick Saban. So he's definitely going to be. Yeah, that would be a good one too. But
yeah, excited to see that one. But then we got Tennessee at Tennessee, second to last game. So teams might be beaten up here. Now Georgia owns Neyland Stadium, and recently, right? And the way they played last year, and then Tennessee obviously has a new quarterback stepping in, looked good versus Clemson. But can you do it a whole SEC season and do it against Georgia?
Man, I like Joe Milton. He got a rocket on his arm. Yeah. I like him, but I don't see that happening, man. I felt like they lost a lot. Tennessee lost a lot out wide for sure. Some real special players, and then their defense, man, they just hadn't got it going.
Yeah. So I lost a good pass rusher this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to the Dogs again up there.
Yeah, I think that one might be one. Obviously, the game last year, they were number one in the country when we played them. So obviously, people are gonna mark that one on their calendars. But being it's the second to last game after you play Missouri and Mississippi, Missouri is going to be a tough one, just how they play physically. And then Ole Miss with the offense and really trying to stretch the field. I mean, that could be one of those games you get to a point where you have some injuries and stuff like that. So I think maybe Tennessee, I'm going to guess, might be the close one here on the schedule. And then Tech is on the road. Dub. So, yeah, I'm thinking 12-0, buddy.
Quick with it, dub. Yeah, don't think too hard.
No. But, yeah, we like 12-0. I think this is going to be the game. Now, LSU and Alabama, they're going to go at it. I like LSU right now just because the quarterback questions for Alabama. Jaden Daniels is a star. He was hurt against Georgia. The way he uses his legs, and I think he's developing as a passer. That's something to watch for is LSU next year.
Yeah, man. I think that team, we talk about it over on our pod. That team right there is really dangerous too, LSU. Jaden Daniels, what he did last year with his legs was super phenomenal. Early too, and I don't think him and his receivers were clicking early on. And you just mentioned it. I think he's getting better as a passer. So I think that team is going to be special. And then Bama, I don't think we can go without talking about them. Like who is their quarterback going to be, bro? Dude.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah. They have options. They do have options, right?
Right. They got options, but I think going into the summer, that's a bad place to be, really. So
yeah. If anybody can do it, though, it's Nick Saban. I'm not going to count him out.
Can't do it. Won't do it.
No. But, yeah, before we get out of here, let's get 2 quick stories. I think we already talked about your favorite Georgia game in the past, and I think that was, if correct me if I'm wrong, your career game was Nebraska in the bowl game where you went off for like 200 something yards.
Yeah, Michigan State, I think.
Yeah, was that your favorite one? Am I getting that right, or did you have a game that you were just like, man, you remember that, you
We
smile?
lost. We lost that Michigan State game, so no, that's
Yeah,
definitely not my favorite.
that was rough.
Man, great memories. Obviously, so many cool different things. Um,
I'm putting him on the spot, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a second.
yeah. I mean, in Florida, I guess. Uh, in in Jacksonville, playing Florida, probably that fourth and I think it was fourth and six, fourth and seven, fourth and eight, something like that. Um, Myself and Michael Bennett both in that game. Two fourth down.
Yeah,
That was a pretty cool moment. I think that's one of my favorite games for sure.
yeah. Michael came on. He said the same game. I love that dude. That was
It was just special. It just felt like everything was going right for the boys.
yeah. And we were underdogs going into there and played really well. And that set us up for the season too. And then NFL. What's that play, man? You remember your favorite plays from the NFL? Maybe touchdown catch, something like that. Describe it to us.
Uh, Man, phew, I ran a crazy I ran a nice sluggo route. Um, who was that on?
Explain that route to the people at home.
Man, it's just a slant and go sluggo. So man, you go 3 steps, you run in on that quarterback, make sure you give him your eyes to sell that thing, and then you go back out on a fade. But man, I ran it so smooth on I think Eagles cat 31 Jalen. I don't remember his last name, but I had him I had him looking. And Eli pumped that thing and he bit on it, and he just threw it in the back corner. That was a really nice play design by my man Sully. So yeah, it was that's probably one that was pretty special. And then same game, took a slant to the crib. So yeah, that was just a special game, I guess. That's probably my favorite game.
All right, man. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate the stories. I guess one more thing before we go. If you had to give these Georgia receivers a tip for working with Mike Bobo, what would it be?
Oh man, bring your lunch pail, but they already know that. He's a worker, man. He expects you to be on your A game, and just like his guy Kirby. Um, he's a worker, man. He expects you to be on your A game. But he's gonna love you, bro. He's gonna love you, put you in the right position, to make sure you succeed and make sure this team succeeds. So just uh just bring your lunch pail and be ready.
Yeah, I love it. Thanks, TK. We appreciate your time, man, your insight, former Georgia Bulldog, former NFL veteran as well. I think you got a show going on you were telling me about. Make sure the people at home know where they can find you on that. You and Noshawn Marino, I believe.
Yes, sir. Myself, Noshawn Marino, and Blaine Gilmer are over at UGAsports.com. You can check our show out on YouTube as well. The show is called The Georgia Players Section. Bring you some player insight from myself and Noshawn. We have some awesome guests. We've had Todd Gurley, Matthew Stafford, AJ Styles, just a slew of folks. You guys can go over and check that out on YouTube as well. But definitely tune in to us every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. I think this week we're on it on Thursday. I think No Shine's going to a Snoop Dogg concert. Uh, so that so we moving the show to Thursday. But yeah, check us out. That's the Georgia Players section for sure.
D O double G. I love it. All right, TK, we appreciate it, man. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.